Dope. Welcome back, everybody. Another live trading stream. A little bit late, mid New York session check-in. And yes, we took off the ads on the live streams because I don't know who turned them back on, but they're back on. And then now we turned them off. So no more ads on the live streams. Welcome back. We're at the beginning of a rate cutting cycle. I was just explaining to the VIP members on the Zoom right here that the European Central Bank finally cut interest rates today. We're talking about the implications of that, which is if your currency is yielding, meaning that if you put your money in a central bank, let's say that you put your money in euros and you leave it with their central bank, they're going to give you a yield on this, on the money. If you're buying bonds in a country and the bond yields are high, then you want to put more money in that country as opposed to a country where you have lower yield. And so high yielding currencies and high yielding bonds are typically where money flows around the world. Interest rates is typically how central banks control the inflows. And interest rate differentials or central bank divergence in policy is typically what causes a big spread between two different countries or two different currencies. So the European Central Bank cut interest rates 25 basis points, not the end of the world. But you guys have to realize, and I'm pretty sure we spoke about this on a stream before. I'll leave this here. Okay. So tons of effects. Then there's imports and exports. So if your currency is very strong, you can buy more foreign goods because it costs less dollars to buy the same amount of goods. And then if you're trying to export goods, it's going to cost way more of their local currency. Like it's going to cost more euros for them to buy the same amount of goods. And so having a strong currency or a weak currency is not necessarily good or bad. It just depends on what your objectives are. If you want to export more, you're going to have a much more favorable currency that allows for global commerce. Now, the Canadian central bank cut rates, I believe, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. And so this is the beginning of a rate cutting cycle. The US central bank, I think, or the Fed is waiting for a bigger emergency to start the cutting cycle because our inflation problem still hasn't gotten solved. So I use the analogy of inflation being like a disease, and then a doctor is trying to cure this disease. And with any antibiotic cycle, if you stop a few days short, number one, you're going to mess up your body. Number two, there's a chance that this disease comes back and is able to get stronger because you haven't really been able to beat it all the way. So inflation is like that. If we don't knock it out completely and we don't get things back under control and get prices really back down, then this thing could snap back and turn into a huge problem, which is why the central bank is very slow to start the rate cutting cycle. We went into the year with an expectation of 5 to 7 rate cuts. Okay. And then they got revised down to 3 rate cuts. And now we're lucky if we get 2. And they're going to be in the later half, maybe late Q3 or, to be honest, yeah, late Q3 or late Q4. So with the rate cutting cycle starting, here's the big picture. By the way, shout out to everyone who showed up to the live webinar yesterday. We might have a big surprise for those who showed up. We're still talking about it with the team. Maybe, I don't know, somebody in the team threw out free seats to everybody who showed up to the live NASDAQ webinar yesterday. Free seats to the masterclass, $500 value for free, just for investing in yourself and showing up on a weekday. But I don't know. We're deliberating it. We're still, we'll let those know if you guys were a part of that masterclass. All right, where are we at? Let's go look at the year real quick. I want to show you just a big picture here about what really happens, and just to avoid deleting any of my stuff. There we go. Okay, so this is pre-COVID, right? This is what happened after you print damn near $10 trillion into the economy. So the way that I look at things is as a macro economist, which is self-proclaimed, but I'm technically a macroeconomist now. And what I'm looking at here is, where's 2020? Well, we'll do 2018. So for some reason, Pepperstone doesn't have data before 2014. But if you can imagine, this was 2008. There was a crash. After the 08 crash, we started quantitative easing. which is the idea of basically printing money. And how you do that is there's a bunch of ways to do it, but we're not going to go into that. Long story short, money printing. The first three facilities of QE happened between 2009 and 2012 and 13. Okay. And then the market essentially recovered between 2014 to 2018. Now, in 2018, Jerome Powell had indicated that inflation has started to get out of control and that we had to start raising interest rates. Interest rates were at 0%, damn near. Okay. Damn near means that the largest commercial banks were borrowing from the Federal Reserve for free, lending it to smaller regional banks, to credit institutions, and everybody else for a very, very low price. And then commercial banks were giving out mortgages, car loans, personal loans, business loans for 3% or less. There's tons of folks who got mortgages pre-2018 that have a mortgage of 3% or that have a mortgage below 3%. Okay. Or 3.5% or low or less. 2018, Jerome Powell indicates he wants to start raising interest rates from that 0%. Party is over. This 14-year money printing operation is over, and the market punished him. This was the first drop here. Okay. Seems insignificant now, but it was a big deal at the time. And this is where many of the traders that I know personally made their big wealth is in this drop. A lot of the guys you guys see on social media, they did crush it in these times. And they had, a lot of it was probably luck because you just enter a short and the market bleeds before you could even set a take profit. But, it was a pretty big deal at the time. Market didn't think that Jerome Powell would do it again. They kind of thought he was bluffing. He ended up raising interest rates one more time, and then we had a second crash. And that's where he sort of eased up in his language. Okay. So 2019, things were starting to recover. And then COVID happened. And all of the things that Jerome Powell was trying to do in 2018 to get inflation under control so that we don't end up in the situation we have today completely got undone in about 2 days. And in the span of 2-3 months, the market had completely recovered in what is now referred to as the V-shaped recovery, the quick, injection of liquidity from both the Treasury, who could send out money directly to people's wallets, and from the Fed, who could send out money to banks, buy banks' assets to pump liquidity into the markets. So that led to the V-shaped recovery, and that was a new era. Okay, this is QE4. This is what basically the point of no return. This was the beginning of the end game in my mind. We either have to accept this charade of the modern monetary theorists that we can print an unlimited amount of money and that debt to GDP doesn't matter. We can go into as much theoretical debt because we don't owe it to anyone. We owe it to ourselves. Who are we going to pay back? Right? And we can play this game, but as long as everybody else plays that game. Now, here's the truth is not everybody is as deluded as we are, right? It seems like developing nations have like a unique sickness to justify the most, like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? Money is supposed to be a medium of exchange so we can trade stuff with each other. I can't carry a cow over to your house to show you what it is. I'll carry these 3 gold coins. I'll give you that. That represents the cow. Money makes sense, right? Unit of account. So how much is this thing? Well, it's 25 gold coins. Okay, so now 25 gold coins and the cow is 3 gold coins. 5 cows equals the thing. Okay, it's a unit of account. And then a store of wealth. So you basically hold it and you can store your labor, like the energy from your labor, like the value and the wealth of your labor in this thing. That whole game makes sense to the majority of the world. This convoluted fractional reserve banking where you put $1 in the bank and then they can leverage it up 5x and then loan out $5 with interest. And then people come back and they pay back those loans and then more people deposit new money. And then you just keep rolling over that debt and this whole big fucking game of what the fuck are we doing? Unique sickness. Okay? And so this is the beginning of the end game unless the whole world adopts this model. Because if the whole world doesn't adopt this model and then we're just having a debt to GDP ratio that makes no sense, this is where we get a BRICS. This is where we get people trying to get off the dollar standard because we start to weaponize the dollar's debt status and the dollar's reserve status to bully our way around the world, which I don't have an issue with as long as it's productive. But when it becomes whatever the fuck this is, Bidenomics, the idea of printing trillions of dollars after a recovery, after we've already gotten out of COVID, because he wants the credit, doesn't want to give it to Trump. What the fuck, man? So just to kind of recap where we're at here, This is the point of no return. Okay. Then we have a big breaking point here where Jerome Powell says the end of QE. And the end of QE is what led to this entire dip. And then right here, we've had a recovery since literally since January of this year. Or sorry, since January of 2023, we've been bullish. Why? Is it because we started cutting interest rates? Because we started printing again? No. The real reason, get to this, is because it's the end of the era. So if I can split this up in 3 parts, just to summarize, this was the money printing era of 14 years, the party, the drugs. This is the Diddy party right here. Okay. You gotta pay the consequences. And sometimes you just gotta say no. But that was the 14 years. And then they just ramped it up at the very end of the party when SWAT showed up and you were on the news and all this stuff. Somebody came in with fresh alcohol and all the drugs, and they were like, no, let's take this up a notch. Okay. Then we had this period right here, which is about 1 year, right? We tried of raising interest rates. And then at some point, I think it was in late June, this was the end of the quantitative tightening. So 1 year of QT. And then this is the end of QT. And that's why we've been bullish ever since. So everybody expected this reaction when we started cutting rates. The reality is once we cut rates, the market will crash. And then once we start really getting into the rate cutting cycle is when we have a continuation. All right, I'll take the applause now. Throw something in the chat if you followed along. If you did not follow along, then God help you, because I literally slowed that down to the point where I know I annoyed some people for a fact. Probably going to get roasted, but buy or sell for NFP. AB Mike, both. Especially on the prop firms that don't let you do that. Continuation model happening, retest 38. Is it true people that were against the fractional banking were killed in the Titanic when it sank? Brother, everyone's against fractional reserve banking, but taxes are fraud, right? Like the whole shit is a scam. But didn't we leave England because taxes are theft? Like, but the American public, I don't know if you guys watch UFC. I don't know what his name is. Renato Moicano. I think that's what his name is. He won this fight, spectacular fashion, kid's a star. Gets on the mic and he says, he's Brazilian as fuck, but he's just talking to the American crowd, and he's like, America, you're losing your country. He said, you people don't know shit about financial literacy. Read a book. And I think he recommended an Adam Smith book or some shit to everybody to read. Bob pulled up that book on Amazon quick. Still haven't bought it, but I'm gonna read it. Right? So the reality is that most people don't know how the system works. If they did, everybody would be like, nobody would be complacent with this. Everybody would be like, what the fuck is happening? The whole idea of the Federal Reserve Bank is still in question. Like, I'm not going to go into that. That's how they actually get me. It says NFP equals no fucking problem. You feel me? With a continuation model as a rule of thumb. Amanda, that was a great question, by the way. We got the worst doctors trying to stop the disease. I mean, bro, you really got to think about this. Okay. Imagine the patient is like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I'm trying to think about something that would include pressure. Imagine the patient is the son of like the cartel boss, right? Like, now I'm not talking about the nice cartels. Like, let's talk about like MS-13. Okay, let's talk about some wild ass shit, and you're the doctor, buddy. How much experimental shit you're gonna try? How many things outside the box you're gonna do? How many things are you gonna do that might really hurt the patient in the short term and cause so much pain, but you know it's gonna be the fix? You ain't doing none of that, brother. You playing it safe. You playing it safe, and you playing this out. You buying time because you're about to be out of office here pretty soon, and it's the next person's problem. Y'all understand what I'm saying here? The analogies are getting crazy, but please let me know if that one came through. Like, Jerome Powell has a lot of pressure because he doesn't want to be the one to crash the U.S. economy. He doesn't want to be the one to aggressively do what he needs to do to get people to lose their jobs. Because if you hurt the labor market, inflation comes down. It is the quick fix. It's like, yeah, we got to chop off your kids' legs to stop this virus. They're like, wait, what the fuck? No. And you know it's what you need to do. And you know the prosthetics, and you know all the shit that's going to happen when you do that. But you know it's a fix. But who's going to go tell the cartel boss? Like, you guys get what I'm saying? That's why Jerome Powell is trying his best. And he tried this in 2018, man. The market punished him. The market kept fucking him over and ruining household wealth for Americans and creating panic until he had no choice but to give in. That's why this whole idea that the Fed's not politicized or the Fed is not kind of beholden to Wall Street, I think it's all bullshit. He said the rate cutting cycle has started. What do you mean by that? Well, I don't know. Maybe listen to the stream, Joaquin. He said bricks, laughable. Yes. I would call it a monopoly money. Oh, we got Tori Trades in the house. What up, Tori? He said it's 20 o'clock. Guys, help me with this military time shit. Why do people always do this to me? It's 20 o'clock here. I'm guessing that's late. In South Africa. Good evening, Roy. Funny that also, Roy. Very inspired. Let's kill NFP too. Hashtag keep going. 321 Royal Havoc. I appreciate you. David Sanchez. ¿Cómo estás? Look up Paul Volcker. You'll understand what Powell's role is. Said, look up Paul Volcker. Brother, do you really think I just broke the entire framework of interest rate differentials, global central bank parity and divergence? And I just broke down the role of Jerome Powell and took a wild guess at his kind of internal dilemmas that he's facing, right? Went psychological on him too. And you're really asking me, you're assuming that I don't know who Paul Volcker is? Is this what we're doing today? You thought this was fucking nurse, you thought I was a fucking jabroni? These guys. In case you guys don't know, Paul Volcker, Fed chairman, good and bad. All right. I'm not going to give you personal opinions and stuff on Paul Volcker's, but he is, to most people, one of the most well-respected Federal Reserve chairmen, someone that everyone looks up to. What is happening? Oh, retest. Perfect. Right on time with the stream. It's basically after Bernanke. So basically, here's like the row of recent Fed chairmen. You had Alan Greenspan, and then you had Ben Bernanke. Ben Bernanke's the one that inherited the '08 financial crisis. He's the one that sort of coordinated all the deals with JP Morgan and the buyouts, liquidity, kind of starting the first QE facility. Then we had Janet Yellen. God help us. Then we had Jerome Powell again, and then Jerome Powell again. Um, if I had to rank them, I'd probably say Greenspan, Powell, Bernanke, Yellen. And Yellen is now the Treasury Secretary, so we're really fucked. Yeah, that's pretty good re-entry right here. I'll be honest. SL below the previous lows, below this wick here. All right. TP at the higher time frame extension. We're gonna ride this one out. And okay. And then I'm just gonna pause the screen share real quick just so I can enter this thing on my other account. I'm gonna have to catch the replay for sure. Said military time be killing me, bro. It's 12 o'clock plus, or it's whatever the number is, minus 12. You kind of get the rough idea. But dude, why are you making me do off the top math? Like, don't some congressmen want to abolish the Fed? Yes, and the truth is they can. All right, yeah, let's go into central bank differentials here. We'll go look at, oh wait, let's stop share, pause share, resume share. You guys can see my screen? We're moving again? Okay. Euro futures. Let's do that. What? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wonder if I can find the Euro index, the EXY. Talk to me nice. All right, looks like we've been on a bearish push for the last couple of months here, or bullish push, excuse me, bullish push past couple of months. I'm trying to think about their policy because they've been indicating rate cuts for a little bit, which makes their currency a bit more attractive, kind of increases inflows into the currency. Let's look at today. I mean, they cut rates and there's really not much of a change here. If we're really being honest, this is the week. And the Euro currency index, all the currency indices it's a basket of currencies. It basically tracks the euro versus all the majors and some minors. Kind of got this like weird mix formula that they do, but it's basically the euro versus everything else. And since currencies are relative, that's why these currency indices are so helpful to look at. It'll give you a general direction. But let's actually just go look at currency crosses here as is. Looks like there was a lot of whipsaws, a lot of action, but Euro USD looks like it's still got more room to the upside. So the reason I trade Euro USD and USD JPY, it's very easy for me personally to track those three countries. I live in the US. I keep my eye on economics, obviously, so I have an idea of what the US Fed is doing. The European Central Bank has just been in a disaster since the European crisis. Brexit happened because Great Britain wanted no part in whatever the hell Europe was doing to basically drive itself into a brick wall. So I really understand that the euro over time will get crushed and the dollar will be dominant. That's easy. Same with the JPY. They're going to keep printing that money like it's monopoly money. Their culture is not really a investing and put money to work and risk tolerant culture. And so that money's not being put to use. So that currency is going to lose its value over time as well, which has been doing for the last 3 years, as I've been writing about it extensively on our website, chartaddictsfx.com. Okay. Let's take a look here. Euro USD, really not much of a change. The only thing I'm seeing is that we're still creating higher floors. The market is clearly bullish. We've had this beautiful bullish impulse, retracement, and now we're creating this higher floor, sort of inverted head and shoulders. We're creating higher highs in this range. And so as long as price stays in this box right here, comes down to the bottom of the box, we'll be able to buy it up. Not going to tell you guys too much about that box. Okay. That's top secret. All right, here's our previous highs. We have this range right here, kind of this Wyckoff range. Here's the lows. Run a quick body to wick. Yo, VIP. Come on, son. Come on, son. Oh my God. I had to delete that real quick in case somebody saw that. I said, oh, why do we go body to wick? Oh, that's why. Accurate. 2 steps out, I took that 886. Let's go. See how Nas is doing. Did we lose? Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm starting to think that stop loss placement was a little weak. I'm going to re-enter. Let me go ahead and pause the share. I'm going to re-enter on my account real quick. Give me a second. I'm re-entering at that current price. On futures, it should be 1940. 1945, where I'm at. 19,045. All right. It didn't hit the stop loss on the what's it called? On this fucking whatever this thing is, the simulator, this paper trading thing, because I had it below the wick, but I even had it below the wick on my other account and to no avail. Spread got me. I should have put it a little bit further. But I just re-entered and I'll do the same thing right here. Larger positions at the bottom since the stop loss is reduced. Then looking to make back the bread on that first loss. Let's see if it holds. The most interesting thing, we have a Fed meeting here coming pretty soon. Wow. Wow. We have a Fed meeting coming up, I believe, next week. And so I'm interested to see how Jerome Powell responds to the European Central Bank. And I guarantee they're going to ask him 50 questions about it. And we're going to be on the live stream and we're going to discuss it. Another magnet got called on gold. Let's go through this one. This is just insane. Y'all see this? Price was sitting at 23.28. Remember that guy who was like, "Oh, gold is going to 2200 or some shit like that on the streams." And I was like, "No, we pulled out the chart, told him it's the most obvious buy of all time." And then look at that. Is the magnet still undefeated, undisputed, greatest indicator in the world exclusively here on the Chart Addicts live streams? I think so. Damn. The receipts don't lie. Yeah, that's strange. No movement after a rate cut. I would assume that the move already happened and there was an anticipation for it, which sort of led to the big movements that we've been seeing before. And so I think that that's the way that markets are forward looking by 6 to 8 months. And so if they think the Fed's going to start cutting rates in 8 months or 6 months, they'll start to pump now. And then when the Fed actually cuts rates, the market will crash. And that's why everyone's always like, but the news came out positive. How did this happen? That's why. This is a very savage grab of liquidity. I believe we had news today on the US side. Let's check that. So Canada cut rates. We just have weekly unemployment claims that dropped earlier. Really no big change here. And then we have NFP tomorrow. I know the ADP numbers came out yesterday, but I don't give a shit about the ADP numbers. It's literally the least reliable measure of economic data ever of all time. All right, this is getting pretty risky. After that first rejection, the market should have continued to break back above to create that new high. But kind of looks like it's going to fill this wick here. Watch this on the 30-minute. Avoid any distractions. Oof. Roy, how much to join the Chart Addicts group? If you've taken the masterclass before, which you have, then it's $99 a month. Now we also offer a VIP Plus version where you get access to all the masterclasses for free. You get to get on every monthly masterclass, any of the private sessions, and that comes with the membership. And our team is even considering doing one other like VIP Plus Plus or whatever, and it comes with a couple of coaching sessions a month, which I really want to implement because I think the combination of live trading, so demonstration, the courses, education, and coaching, the accountability, implementation, I think the combination of all those is a guaranteed winning plan. All right. There's no room, there's no holes for any failure. Just everything is basically addressed. So we're thinking about that one too. But for now, 99 a month gets you access to the VIP group chat, all the market outlooks, the interactive calls, the educational sessions, the courses on the website, videos, recordings, etc. $250 a month also includes the master classes for free, which since the master classes are $500 a seat, I'd say that's a fucking steal. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the best at math, but that sounds like a steal. All right. Now we got a nice rejection. Let's see if we got a follow through. Might have to extend the stop loss a bit more. I'm still feeling like if it did it once, it could do it again. And I want to give the market enough room to do its BS. All right. If you're a previous Chart Addicts member and you have not taken the masterclass, keep an eye out for the emails. We had a special offer for you guys, and we really want to make sure that you guys see what we have. I know that we've been teaching for a long time, but getting the system down to where it is today, this is like we have not been here before. This is arguably the simplest, most straightforward, the most successful system that we've ever built, and it's producing the best results that we've ever seen. And so I really want you guys to come see what we're doing over here, and I want you guys to get back in game. So any previous Chart Addicts members, make sure to check your emails. There's something special for you guys. Roy, my man, what's going on? I'm about to get my first payout on Apex. Thank you for the teachings. Chris, I'm proud of you, bro. Congratulations. Stay consistent. It's the start, not the end. Okay. It's a milestone. It's not a destination. Make sure you stay consistent and keep doing what got you to the dance, Chris. Am I streaming for NFP tomorrow? I believe so, yeah. I'm flying out to go see family, but I won't be flying out till later at night. So yeah, I'll be there early morning. That's the rejection we're looking for already. So right now, currently on the other account, I'm past break even from the first loss. So technically, if I closed now, I'd be able to walk away profitable for today. However, I do believe in this trade, and I took the first trade for a reason and accepted that loss. And I'm taking the second trade because I do believe in the system. So I'm going to hold this thing. Does that mean we're going to get a straight line up? No. Could it play around here and then do another few retests and just keep playing around all day? Sure. But in the next hour and a half or 2 hours, that's where I'll look to close closer to the end of the session. Unless this thing rips up and breaks up this like 1945 level right here, I might just close that. But truth be told, I want to let the trade play out at least to the previous highs up here. And so patience pays. That's what we're doing. TP1 about to get hit. Oh, yeah. Have you implemented using the trailing stop loss in futures or just closing manually? Closing manually. I haven't really figured out how to do the trailing stops and all these things. And to be honest, made a few mistakes with the trailing equity drawdown. I was in profits deep on a trade, and then just say like 1-2 minutes later, account was gone. So I just want to take the profits and walk away, which truth be told, the most profitable times of my life, the most profitable seasons, the most profitable accounts that I managed, every single time it was taking the profits and walking away, not trying to trail, not really trying to hold, not trying to push it past a certain point. With CFDs, it was just set a protective stop and just let it go. I'll close 70, 80, 90% of the trade and then just let that 10% run. If it's a runner, then it'll pay off. If it's not, then fuck it, I'm done. And so I feel like it was great practice for futures. And then even practicing like that on futures is going to make you such a better trader. Everyone wants trades to hit TP when the whole goal is who's going to end profitable. Like that's the only thing that matters. Yeah. I was hearing some weird ass noise, and it turns out it's probably somebody's TV. They got their window open. It was a scream, and it was like a no, and then I stopped to listen for a second, and then I heard like some fucking Rambo ass line come in, and somebody was like, doosh, 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 doosh. I'm like, all right, bro. Unless there's a fucking shootout happening upstairs, definitely a movie. The trailing works on one account with the ATM function. By the way, guys, I always like to recommend content that I find valuable. This is not trading related, but this is important for just understanding the world and kind of making progress here. Tucker Carlson dropped a podcast with Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador. Okay, quick recap. El Salvador, probably 5 years ago, was the murder capital of the world. We talk about in America, we had the murder capital was in Richmond and DC and Chicago and all these places, right? Chirac, right? You have countries that are in complete chaos right now. Haiti, for example. You have all these countries in the world. You're telling me that El Salvador was number one. Okay. Currently, in the last 3 years, Nayib Bukele has made El Salvador the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. That's fucking crazy. And he did it by not giving a fuck, by trusting God and looking for God's wisdom, and by actually persecuting crime and having common sense. They were talking about allowing shoplifting in California. Bro, in what fucking universe does that make sense? Remember I told you that the developing countries have a unique sickness? Like, imagine how sick in the head or how deluded you have to be or whatever, like brainwashed you have to be to think that allowing shoplifting is a good idea for any functioning society. Like, what are we talking about? And so I think it's a rational reminder because you're talking to someone from a different culture who has had a lot of success in a short amount of time. And if El Salvador, with no money, with no global, with no global support, they didn't do this with outside help, okay, with a weak military, could clean up their entire country and put hundreds of thousands of gang members, Mara Salvatrucha, the MS-13, the most dangerous gang in the world, put them all in prison and create safety for his people because safety and security is a prerequisite for prosperity. So I want you guys to watch that just to kind of get a perspective on how fucked all of our countries are. I don't care what country you're from. If you're in Venezuela, if you're in the US, if you're in the Middle East, no matter what. Well, the Middle East has a few countries, but no, the Arabian Gulf has a few countries that have a better crime rate because they actually enforce the crime, their laws. But watch it, get a perspective, and hopefully this kind of helps introduce the future of what we expect. If basically the main theme that I got is that if a system that is made by humans is not maintained, it's gonna fall. And so just like democracy, just like capitalism, just like these social structures, just like the bureaucracy, if these things are not, if someone doesn't come in and maintain these things and clean up shop and kick out the old dirt and clean up the mess, right? Every once in a while, these things will fail. And it is us that's responsible for basically either voting the people in who are responsible for, keeping us on the right track, or just as citizens in a free country, doing the right thing to stay on the right track. Because if everybody's starting a business, if everybody's kind of creating financial wealth for themselves, if everyone has good moral values and is keeping the importance of a nuclear family in their own household, then that'll trickle onto the society and to the country as a whole. And so watch that, get a perspective. Big recommendation for y'all. Being good content for the day. So he did it the right way. I mean, look, are there a bunch of innocent people in jail? Probably. Yes. Let's just be completely honest. But can people at least walk around the streets? Like, yeah. All right. Alfonso says, take the class, guys. Anyone know how to close partials on futures? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Anyone have any advice there? So I'm closing the full positions. And I do have another account, which I won't disclose. But on futures, I'm closing the full thing. So we hit TP1, and I'm pretty sure we just hit TP2 as well. Almost TP2. We're kind of stuck at TP1 right now. If you're buying, you sell how many you close. Okay. So you just open an order in the opposite direction of the amount of contracts you want to close. So if you're in buys, and let's say you're at 4 contract buys, you got to sell the amount of contracts you want to close partials. So you want to close half, you sell 2 contracts. So if you have 4 contracts running, then you can sell 2 contracts, and that's basically closing partials. Good stuff. El Salvador has mined nearly 474 Bitcoin since 2021, thanks to a volcano-fueled geothermal power plant. Jesus Christ. Bringing the government's total Bitcoin portfolio to nearly 354 million at current prices. 474 Bitcoins. Yo, by the way, guys, I might have been wrong about this crypto prediction with Bitcoin specifically. A piece of me still believes that we could see another dip, but everything has started to play out, and then we had this rebound. Now, are we still stuck at the previous highs? Yes. CA members in the Zoom call, like in the Zoom chat, what was the direction of that fake out? The first one. And let me just ask the follow-up since I'm not going to waste time. What was the direction of that first fake out? And what does that indicate about what we can expect? because everyone's about to start getting hyped. We break 70K. It's like, oh my God, new all-time highs created. Oh my God. And everyone's going to start buying in. Come on, guys. Was reading an article about crypto being mandatory in the future. Bitcoin being mandatory for governments or for El Salvador or for who? As a monetary policy or something. No, see, if we were smart and if the world could cooperate, then maybe we could, right? Because then we create like this is what Facebook had the idea to do, which is called WorldCoin. And the whole idea is that it's a medium of exchange that you can just take all the world's currencies, and then if you want to send money to anybody, you can just send it in this what is it called? This common currency. Now the problem is, wait, hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Got it. I had this cup of ice water right next to me, and I didn't even notice because obviously I'm locked in and deep in conversation. And this thing was fucking about to hit all my wires and my chargers and all this stuff. No, no. So yeah, if we were smart, we would have created a common currency. But the dollar is the world's reserve currency. That is the medium of exchange. That is the common sort of theme between everyone. And America's going to protect that shit to the last minute. Okay. So when Bitcoin was being hailed as like this alternative monetary system to the dollar and all this stuff, that's where the threats really came in. And they don't, there's three pieces to this. The government doesn't really want a competitor to the dollar, but guys, there's a lot of competitors to the dollar out there, a lot of good ones. And they are backed by militaries when Bitcoin is not, right? And they're trying to take the dollar's dominance and they got no chance. So that's not really the biggest threat because the dollar obviously is the most pervasive. The second one is going to be, yeah, how do I even say this without, I guess there's no other way to say this. The government wants their cut. God damn it. If you're selling securities, if you sell a security to try to raise money for your company and you don't list it on the exchanges and you don't go through the necessary procedures and you're not paying the bureaucracy and you're not following the rules and submitting the forms and doing the audits, they want their fucking cut. That's why they went after XRP. They wanted to go after Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have a board of directors. Ethereum's not here. XRP is a payment system that really is the future. And they wanted to be in control of it. And XRP said no, right? Because they're a private company. And that's where they basically got them in a lawsuit to crush them while their competitors took their market share. Horrible, because they're a US company and all these other competitors are not. We gave the world their fucking edge. Okay, so that's the thing about Bitcoin, or that's the thing about crypto. It will become another sector of the S&P 500, not cryptocurrency. I believe it's going to be like blockchain technologies or digital, whatever they're going to call it. But that's going to be the future. The technology itself is going to be implemented in everything. Payment systems, phones, to make everything run faster, just like AI, right? So just assume that everything's going to get faster, cheaper, and better. And then companies will implement the technology and find a way to create more margin for themselves. And so shit will get expensive again. Fucking idiots. It's like a bunch of shit that we pay for on a monthly basis is actually free, but we get charged for it because someone put together a website or a service for it. And I think that that's what blockchain is going to be. It's like if you knew how to use this stuff, your life is going to become damn near free. You can send money, send pictures, you can do anything you fucking want for free, contracts, everything. But if you don't, then you're gonna have to pay somebody in the future to do it for you, which will still be cheaper than today, but always cheaper to learn how the game works. Got it? I'm gonna check on NAS one last time before we head off. If it's bearish, we'll call it a day. If it's bullish, I'm gonna close at that TP2 and take my money and go. So far, so good. Still holding the zone. Stop loss placement is pretty good. Only concern I have is that this previous impulse, even though we had a higher low, we were not able to break the previous high. Like we need to come up here and break this previous high to really push this bullish continuation. Okay. So that's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I got a bunch of stuff to get done. I'm about to go do it. Sign up for the masterclass, people. Best decision you'll ever make in your life. If you're a trader, you're just like, dude, everything out there is just too much stuff. There's too many things. There's always some BS. I don't even know anymore. I don't even want to trade anymore. Just take the class and see how you feel, and I guarantee you'll have a change of mind. Yeah, whoever said Model 2, it's your boy. Yeah, there was a Model 1 this morning too. But keep in mind, you see this low here? So Model 2 would actually be this. You get me? Got the 6138 trap right here, and we got that lower zone there. So I see what you're looking at, right? Same trade I'm taking on NAS basically, so valid. But if it does break, don't forget the bigger picture. Always keep in mind the bigger picture. Just like Lil Baby said. Here we go. Bing. I guess this would be the neckline, wouldn't it? Ooh, now I see what you mean. Valid. Very valid. Josh, is that Josh McGinnis?
You already know it, Roy.
Oh, damn. Tear just fell down my eye. No, wait, we don't cry. Fucking my face was watering. That's what that was. All right, thanks for the education, Roy. Biggie Smalls, you already know. Drop a new album when you get the chance. Why is your NASDAQ price different than mine on Top Step? Because first, I'm using the Owanda quote here. And the second one is, this is probably closer to what you are looking at here. This is 10 minutes behind. Fucking, you get the drill. All right, y'all. I really got to rock up. Take it easy. Happy, safe trading. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, drop a like, right? Drop a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. I'll be live tomorrow for non-farm payroll. See you back here live. Damn it, go crush it in your day. If you haven't heard this lately, I'm proud of you. And if you're not doing what you need to do, you know what you got to do? You got to do what you need to do. Yeah. Peace out. You want to know why your life ain't getting better? Because you're not doing the stuff.